Most team building initiatives are forgotten by the next Tuesday and don't have a particularly lasting effect. And in this video, I'm going to share why and how to actually fix and address that. If even the phrase team building, icebreaker, etc. Gives you or your group hives, you'll actually love this video because it is an alternative to the norm. I think most team building fails because the way that we think about it is a transaction that happens maybe once a year, once a quarter, etc. And so in a school context, all teachers get together for a day or 2 full days for convocation to get ready for the school year. And I'm not saying that's bad. In fact, it's lovely to all gather at once. But if you wanted to get healthy and you wanted to lose 25 pounds, I would super not recommend going to the gym for 12 hours in hopes that you lose 25 pounds. What will happen instead is you'll probably hurt yourself and you'll be miserable and you'll never want to go back. These are not the things we want people to feel about building cohesion or a team. We want people to feel quite positive about it. We want people to walk away thinking, wow, that was really great. I would not mind doing that again. And so here's how to fix that issue. Take your 12 hours in a day of team building and divide it up into 52 weeks. I like to call it connection before content, where it's like, 7 to 15 minutes before you jump into a meeting, not before the meeting starts, because the idea of connection before content is that it connects to the purpose of why you're actually there in the moment. And ideally that connection happens in non-threatening, lovely small groups of 3 people. The technical facilitation term is truples for that. But the entire idea here, though, is not to trick people into building a team over time. It's actually at the very beginning to reframe this team building idea as not a transaction that happens once and then that's it, but as a transformation. We actually want to move from a bunch of disconnected me's into one we that is steering in the same direction or rowing in the same direction. Even if we have very different perspectives, disagree with each other often, have conflicts all the time, that's all good actually. We want different perspectives. We don't want a bunch of automatons just obeying everything in a row, but we do want people who actually are aligned and want the best for each other. And so the way that I would do this right off the bat is by asking a group, what do you want working on this team to be like? And I'd give people 3 to 5 minutes to write out. It's just free write journal, no pen stopping, free write out journal, some ideas and responses to that. What would you actually like working on this team to be like? Because some people might say, I'd love work to be work, nothing personal, we just go in, do our thing, and get out. And somebody else is gonna say, I want to work with people I like. I want friends at work. And so the value of this is those perspectives are both in the room, whether you talk about them or not. And so as you're trying to do your team building, this person and this person are in their group talking to each other. It's much more productive to connect them if you can highlight and make that transparent. What do you want working on this team to be like? Write that down, get into small groups of 3, and 15 minutes discuss. That's your first team building initiative. That's like week 1 of 52 weeks. There it is. What do you want working on this team to be like? All following weeks, I would love for the connection before content, for that 7 to 15 minutes that you spend in dialogue, connecting with each other, but also connecting to the purpose of why you're there, to loop back to what people said in those conversations. And so after people share in small groups, what would you like working on this team to be like? In the large group, I'm gonna have people popcorn out and share what struck you about those conversations. What did you notice about those conversations? And the things they're gonna share with you, you could probably make them posters on the wall, right? I want to be respected even if there's disagreement. I want people to be ethical and to show integrity. I want any company or organization values. You could go in and look at find their values poster and be like, yep, this is what was said in the discussion. And so you can get right to the core values in a very personalized way by tapping into that. Now, awesome, we've established that, but the question is how? Luckily for you, you have 51 more weeks together that year. And so next week you can come back and say, hey, last week somebody mentioned integrity. And so can you just take these We Engage cards, the images, scattered all over a table, and can you choose an image that represents a story where integrity was kind of the main character? So choose an image that represents a time where integrity really showed up in the room. And so I just grabbed this card randomly, but I might choose this brick wall and share about a time where I was trying to get something done and somebody was totally stonewalling me. They wouldn't even engage in a dialogue with me about how to get this done more efficiently. And I felt like that was actually like an issue with integrity because we were wasting time and resources doing it a really poor, inefficient way. Right? So you see how an image can unlock something really concrete for folks. But all of a sudden, your connection before content relates back to what do you want this team to be like? And so when those stories are exchanged, what we're doing is taking integrity off of the wall, off of a values poster, and actually making it come alive. This one's for my nerds in the room. If you have an hour of free time, go to a library and rent out the book A Pattern Language by Christopher Alexander. Published in 1977. It's this like design Bible that is structured. I've never seen a book like it. It's a huge tome of a book, but it's meant to be read in a couple hours because all the patterns that he talks about are in bold. So you can kind of just scan through and read the bold patterns. The book is insane because it's organized from design at like a county, state level, so like literally like big design, and then keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until he's like talking about half-inch trim in a house. And so it's just a very cool, unique book. One of the patterns is called site repair. So it's the idea of if you were to buy a house and it's got a half-acre plot, you'd find the ugliest, most unpleasant, undesirable part of that, and then you would install or create the most beautiful, desirable thing of the property and put it right on that spot. Right? So the idea of like replacing the bad with the best. And so the book is just filled with like hundreds of really clever, interesting ideas like that. One of them, related to team building, is called gradual stiffening. And it's the idea that instead of moving in and spending 12 hours at the gym trying to lose 25 pounds, it's the idea of saying, if I want to get healthy, maybe I'll just go on a walk every Tuesday and Thursday with a colleague. We'll just like shift this meeting, this one-to-one that we have, to a walk, rain or shine. Like bring our raincoats, bring our umbrellas, like we're committed to actually just walking. That's interesting. That's also like team building and getting healthy at the same time. So that's a 2-for-1. Gradual stiffening, that's all. The idea of just don't worry about getting your team built in a day. Rome was also not built in a day, and so maybe just give it some time and divide your team building by 52. And I think what you'll find is the group actually wants to come back and looks forward to those conversations rather than dreads the one annual offsite where they're going to be forced to go bowling with Bob. Have an awesome day.